Hey there. So, part two. Let's get right into it. So, I think the only Hammer film that Scream Factory put out, as far as I can remember so far, is Vampire Lovers. It's a really, really good one, Ingrid Pitt. I really enjoyed this film. Lots of super cheesiness to it. If you haven't checked it out, it's a really good one, and some decent special features. And as far as I remember, it's one of the low-price ones as well. Now, From Whisper to Scream is not only a kind of a fun little film by Jeff Burr, an anthology film, and you guys know I love my anthology films, but also has a great feature-length documentary on here. Actually, not only did I recommend the documentary before, but I reviewed the documentary on its own. It was that good. And basically, I got a comment from the people that made it, which I thought was really, really nice of them. Decade Under the Innocents, it's called, and again, if you don't have this one, it's a fun little film. Not perfect, but I think it's a decent anthology film to add to your collection. It's Vincent Price, of course, and the documentary alone is worth it. The documentary is actually, I'll be honest with you, the documentary is even better than the film. Next up is, of course, an Amicus one, and that is Tales from the Crypt and Vault of Horror. I do love both these films. I love the story in Vault of Horror. I'm a big Doctor Who fan, as you guys know. And Tom Baker does a great job in Vault of Horror. I do love both these. I'm a huge fan of the Amicus anthologies. I've watched these several times. And there you have an open mat edition. I think this is a Vault of Horror on here as well. So yeah, there's the theatrical cut, basically an open mat uncut version. And this is the first time to have these uncut. Originally, I think it was Tales from the Crypt had these freeze frame sequences at the end of their was it Tales from the Crypt or Vault of Horror? One of them had freeze frame sequences at the end of the film. Vault of Horror, because it has the vampire one. Yeah, they'd freeze frame things rather than actually see what was going on. And we don't get the freeze frame, no, we actually get what's happening. It's actually much cooler. Evil Speak. Everybody in the world hates Clint Howard in this in this film. I'm not joking. It really is. Everybody in the world hates Clint Howard. It's fun. It's kind of like male version of Carrie, except not as likable. But it's fun. It is insanely crazy, and it's something that if you like this type of stuff, that you got to check out. A good friend of mine, Logan Toxic, I think he hated this film. I can get that. Maybe just like many of the people in the film, maybe just didn't like Clint Howard, but it was one of those. It's a fun film. It's like, if you like crazy films, then you're probably like that type of stuff. And one of the more kind of one of the fewer mainstream ones they did was Leviathan. I do like the underwater type films. Not one that I was really I'll be honest with you. I'll be completely honest. I bought this to round out a Scream Factory order that I was doing during one of their Summers of Fear. I couldn't find anything else, and I grabbed Leviathan. It was actually fairly cheap, but I'm glad I got it because it's got a great cast in it, and better than I remembered, actually. Better than I remembered. Invaders from Mars. Again, I think this is underrated. Tobe Hooper does a great job in this. So there are some great features in here. If you haven't checked it out, I really recommend you do. It's a fun little film. People complain that it's kind of tonally kind of all over the place. It doesn't really know what it wants to be. I kind of get that, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really fun. And the kid actors in this don't annoy me. Supernova, it's a Scream Factory release. Barely. I think this really should have been a Shout Factory release. I think it was put under Scream's label, probably to sell more copies of it. I haven't seen it in a while. It's got a decent cast. James Spader's in it, Angela Bassett. I think Lou Diamond Phillips in this one too, is he? Is he in this one? Yeah. So I'm not really going to go into that one, but I was underwhelmed by it. Got it again because it was cheap at the time. Evil Destruction, though, I did enjoy. This is a really fun film. It's super cheesy. Gregory Hines is the action star. This was when they were kind of doing that. Gregory Hines did this one. I think there was one called what's it called? White Knights with him and Mikhail Baryshnikov. Actually, I really like that film. But Evil Destruction is kind of like a cheesy, kind of like a Terminator type of thing. You got to check it out. It's kind of a fun little sci-fi little romp. The Nest. I don't like insects, and this one I got because I'm a huge fan of Lisa Langolis, who's in this film, and this is kind of one of the exploitation ones. I'll watch one of these days with, oh my God, probably when Raj or somebody's around like that, so it won't freak me out so much. Next up is Swamp Thing. Again, this is a good release. It's not the uncut European release that came out there by accident through MGM, and it was quickly hauled back, and the original release came out. But I do like this. I think it's a really good film. I would like to have the MVD, like Return of Swamp Thing edition, but MVD releases are actually really expensive here in Canada. But I do enjoy this film, and Adrienne Barbeau, I was totally in love with her. Everybody was back then. The Guardian, one that I originally was not a big fan of, I grew to like a lot more over years. Friedkin does a good job with this one. It's not what it was supposed to be originally. There was, a lot of like behind the scenes stuff with The Guardian. Was actually, I'll be honest with you, the behind the scenes stuff was actually a bit more fascinating than the film. But it really belongs in a collection, I think. If you're Friedkin fans, definitely check it out. Came Without Warning. It was, for the longest time, nobody knew that, had wanted to see this one and hadn't seen it. And there was a great cast in it. Neville Brand. I'm a huge fan of Neville Brand. He's in this one here. But it's a fun little, like, alien monster type film. Another George Romero one that's, like, highly underrated, and that is Monkey Shines. I love the George Romero films that aren't zombie films. And I think that most of them just kind of get shoved under the carpet, which is unfair. But there, you got the little sticker. I kept a sticker on the back. Next up is Ghoulies and Ghoulies 2. Again, huge fan of the Ghoulies films that get you in the end. 2 is kind of more fun than number 1. Number 1 has like a early appearance from Mariska Hargitay, of course, who would be on Law & Order SVU. So that's kind of cool. There's some decently ghoulie effects in it, but ghoulies really don't play as big a part as they would in the sequel. It's a different type of film. House Where Evil Dwells and Ghost Warrior. I want to do a review of these, so don't want to really talk about them too much. Just I got these to review, and I'm glad I did. I'm really glad I did. Here's one I've talked about ad nauseum, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, and that is the double feature for Slumber Party Massacre 2 and Slumber Party Massacre 3. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of both these films. I'm a big fan of the craziness of Slumber Party Massacre 2. Let's buzz. Really, it is so fun. It is such a fun film. If you haven't seen these two films, they're like, especially 2 was cheesy, over the top, gross, insane, fun, crazy. I love it. I really do. This is a fun double feature, and it's got a documentary on the entire franchise, the entire Slumber Party Massacre franchise. I want to watch that. I really do. I go back and forth when I'm doing this video. I'm finding stuff that I like to watch. Nightmares is an anthology film that I actually saw in theater. I was in theater. I think I saw this one in theater. Emilio Estevez. That's kind of like the. It was cool. It's like very high tech back in the day, where he does this video game one. I remember the one I liked most though was what's her name? Christina Rains from Sentinel. Yeah, she does. It's the Terror in Topanga. It's a very classic story. You'll know as soon as you see. You'll guess the ending. It's the type of tale that you've told at a sleepover or out camping type of thing. It's one of those. You know right away. Candyman sequel. I like that. Kelly Rutherford does a decent job in this one here. It is Kelly Rutherford, right? She's in this. Kelly Rowan. Go. Kelly, that's a completely different person. But Kelly Rowan's in this. We got of course, Tony Todd is back. I did enjoy this film. So I'm a big fan of the Candyman films, especially the first 2. There's a third one, right? I'm trying to remember now. I think there's a third one. Yeah, there is. Phantom of the Opera. Again, I like this one. I actually reviewed this with a friend of mine, Kelly. And we both enjoyed this one here. I think it was the first time she'd seen it, so it was kind of fun watching it through somebody else's eyes that had not seen the film before. We're more kind of like used to the more modern Phantom of the Opera. Dark Angel, which I know as I Come in Peace. I've only ever seen it as I Come in Peace, and I didn't know what Dark Angel was when they announced it, when Scream Factory announced it. But this is one of the last kind of like cool action films that don't use CGI or anything like that. You actually almost get yourself killed. Brian Benben, Dolph Lundgren, and what's his name again? Oh God, I'm trying to remember the name. I can't remember the names. I'm actually looking for it here. Of the guys that I don't remember. It's freaky looking dude. Anyway, he did a few movies. Now this one here actually has a Shout Factory on it, but I think it was supposed to be Scream Factory. It was kind of a error, but they just didn't change it. And that's Q, the Winged Serpent, Larry Cohen goodness. If you're a Larry Cohen fan, you got to have this one. If you're a monster movie fan, you got to have this one. If you like stop motion animation, you got to have this one. Just really, really cool stuff. Next up is The Crush. I think The Crush is underrated. I think Reese Witherspoon does a great job in this film. I think that she plays a great psychotic character. And even though I'm glad they didn't do a sequel, I kind of at the time wanted them to do a sequel. And even today, if they did like kind of just a cheesy straight-to-video sequel, I'd probably like that. Carrie Elwes is actually really good in this one here. Kurtwood Smith, Jennifer Rubin in this one. But I did really like The Crush, and and it's kind of scary for me because I am an author, and you can picture that, like the obsessed like fan. But that's more of like an Annie, but you know, the obsession type of thing and I just really liked it. Okay, we'll just go with that. The Dark Half again is another one I really, really enjoyed. I love the book for The Dark Half. I do like this film, and I was iffy on it when I first saw it, but as always, Timothy Hutton just really, he sells this film. This one I'm going to read in the future, so you're not going to hear anything else. Just next up is Return to Count Yorga. Of course, Count Yorga came out on Twilight Time, and of course, both of them came out under the Arrow label. And I'm going to get that one down the road because that's some extra features, and I do want to review both the Count Yorga films, so we'll do that one. Nosferatu the Vampire. I'm a huge fan of Werner Herzog. I'm a huge fan of Klaus Kinski, and I'm a huge fan of this film. I wish they put out Nosferatu in Venice, which is a sequel to this. Next up is the double feature, Blackula and Scream, Black to Scream. You guys know I'm a huge blaxploitation fan and a huge B-horror fan. It's a must. Ninja 3 The Domination, so cool, they're actually putting it again with more features. This one had a commentary and theatrical trailer. They're doing like a new remaster of it with a bunch more features. I got this one. This was a really cheap one, like maybe $10. But would I rebuy it? I don't know. This is a really good release. Death Valley, if you don't have this early Scream Factory release, get it. It's actually a really good film. Love the ending of this film. Love the little twist on this one. The boy in this one, Peter Billingsley, of course, from A Christmas Story. Great cast. Great little twist near the end. Paula Matz actually does a great job. Stephen McHattie, incredible. Catherine Hicks. It's just solid film. I do commentary there as well. Really fun stuff. Now, here's one. You may hate the film. You probably do hate the film. You probably really hate the film or are baffled by it. That being said, features, sell it. And that is Psycho. Man, if you got the Psycho, if you got the original Psycho, if you got Psycho 2 and 3, if you got Psycho 4, if you bought that like one that MGM put out and you got Bates Motel, come on. Is it really that much worse than owning Bates Motel on DVD? Nah. Honestly, Vince Vaughn, who's actually a very good actor, is woefully miscast in this film. Gus Van Sant makes some unusual directing choices. And all that being said, Rob Gluzzo from who did the Psycho Legacy documentary that's out by Shout Factory that you all should own, and does like the Shockwaves podcast, and before that, the Killer POV podcast. He really does a great commentary with what's her name in it? Amy Duddleston, the editor of the film. And there's another commentary with Gus Van Sant and Anne Heche and Vince Vaughn, which I didn't listen to, and a theatrical trailer. Troll 2 and Troll 3. This is recently showing up at Walmarts all over the place. Now, my edition of this has Best Worst Movie. I'm not sure if the Walmart edition does, but if it does, definitely pick it up. That's a fantastic documentary. Nightbreed, this is the director's cut. They put out the director's cut and they put out a big box set. If you've been a fan of my channel for a long period of time, you're going to know that I did a video early on saying, like, shame on you, Scream Factory, for putting out the Nightbreed, like, as a real expensive $80 DVD when it's only one movie type of thing. And I kind of regretted doing that down the road. I did. Stigmata, it's a cool 90s horror film. I actually did enjoy this one. It's kind of fun. There's like actually a featurette on this on like the real kind of like Stigmata thing. So, however you feel about it, like, you know, the supposedly real Stigmata thing. Hellhole, this is probably my favorites. This actually runs more in the Vinegar Syndrome line of type of filmmaking. It bafflingly has Judy Landers in this film throughout the entire film. There is some sleaze in this film, and Judy Landers doesn't take her clothes off like at all, ever in this film. It really blew my mind actually, but I was so excited to get Hellhole. I love Winter Prison movies, and this is such a fun one. I watched this like twice in a row when I watched it. I watched it once, then I watched it again. I watched the Mary Warnoff interview, and then I watched it again. Crawl Space, and of course for that amazing like little documentary, like short film called Please Kill Mr. Kinski. Talking about how hard he was to work with. A really fun film. I like this one a lot. I think it's highly underrated. It's a psychological thriller. He does a great job in this film. It's one that I've watched many times. There are Scream Factories here that I still have to get to, but Crawl Space isn't one of those, and probably has taken the place of me actually getting to other ones because I do enjoy this film. This one is probably known best for Mystery Science Theater and being one of the best Mystery Science Theater episodes out there. But they actually put out the actual release, the uncut edition of the film, and they include the Mystery Science Theater episode on here. And I kind of want to see Scream Factory do more of that. Some people were kind of like miffed about that and really didn't like it, but I can kind of see it going in that direction, especially when they're kind of in between with their releases and they're not sure if they have stuff to show. So why not do that, right? And that is The Brain That Wouldn't Die. This is a really fun film. The Mystery Science Theater episode, this one is, they're firing on all cylinders. It is joke after joke that's just hitting and hitting and hitting. Some Mystery Science Theater stuff, you got to be honest, they throw everything at the wall and to see what sticks. Everything seems to stick with The Brain That Wouldn't Die. It's great to see the actual original release of it. Great, cool stuff. There's an audio commentary actually on this one, which I haven't listened to yet, which I really should. But if you haven't seen The Brain That Would Die, I really do recommend checking it out. Final Exams, another fun one. Pretty brutal film actually, much more than I remembered it being. I actually didn't like this one when I saw this one back in the day. This was one of my less favorite ones, and I was really surprised when Scream Factory put it out. Then when I bought it and I watched it again, actually it worked for me on a lot more cylinders than it did back in the day. So maybe it's just the time that you see it. Now, the practical joke that he played at the beginning of this film wouldn't fly in today's society. I tell you that much right now. Witchboard, I'm a huge Kevin Tenney fan, and Witchboard is just a really good film. Tawny Kitane's in this one. We got Steve Nichols, of course, who played Patch Steve Johnson from Days of Our Lives. And it really is about the bromance in this one here, between Todd Allen and Steve Nichols, more so than it is like the Tawny Kitane. She's like, you got Tawny Kitane, she's gorgeous. She's at her absolute most gorgeous in this one here. She's at her white snake best in this. And it's a really fun one. There's some great features on here. Definitely worth checking out. Next up is one of Michael Par's favorite films that he ever made. And I can see why, because he does a great job in this movie. He really sells the role and does it in a way that, like, I don't think anybody else could do. I don't think anybody else could do the portrayal like the way he did it. There's so much pathos, and you care about the character that he plays. And the character is a monster, literally. And that is Bad Moon. It's a very good film. Forget, like, there's some dodgy CGI in there, and yeah. And does it take you out? Not when the performances in the film are that good, you can go look over some dodgy CGI. Next up is Deadly Eyes. Own it, really. Just seriously own it. It's a cool one. Brandon Tennell did a review of this one in his Canucksploitation. And Deadly Eyes, Lisa Longolis is in this one too, and own it. Next up is Howling 2. This is a werewolf. Totally, man. She's a werewolf. You should really look into that. But it's really cool, and if you want to see like Sybil Danning, and a scene at the end where Sybil Danning's like disrobing scene, she was very angry about this actually, gets shown like, what, 9 or 10 times? Something, even more maybe. Just show her breasts, kind of like we're ripping open her shirt and showing her breasts over and over again. She was mortified when she got to the theater and saw that at the end of the film, playing during a music video where they padded the screen time. Actually, it's a really fun film. Christopher Lee actually apologized to Joe Dante that when he made the sequel to this one, and he was making, I think it was Gremlins 2, and he said, I'm sorry about Howling 2. Joe Dante didn't mind. He was cool with it. Very cool, very fun little film, and very topical right now because Bruce Campbell has just retired as the role of Ash. And he said, well, would you go back to play it for another series? And what if Netflix wanted to do it? He said, no, I retired, Ash. I've done what I wanted to do with the role, basically. Yeah, I'm getting older, that's it. And he's doing other stuff. He wants to do other stuff. So let him do it and enjoy the movies that he put out and the TV series. Army of Darkness, great release. Actually, we got like 3 cuts of the film. Theatrical cut, director's cut, and the international cut. I thought there was a 4th cut on this one, actually. I think there's actually a TV cut on here as well. Let me see. I'll find it for you. Yeah, there's a television version, so there's actually 4 cuts of the film. Philip Mora, who did Howling 2, who did Howling 3, actually, you're probably thinking he's pretty inept with making these like werewolf movies. Not really. He actually made a really good one. Not a werewolf, but it's a monster movie called The Beast Within. It's much better than you think. And especially if you said, hey, the guy that made Howling 2, don't you want to see him make another monster movie? And then you go see Howling 3 and you say, what about one more? And you're like, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Check this one out. It's actually really fun. Collector's Edition time. If Scream Factory is known for showcasing any director at all, more than anyone else, basically, that to really show off what they have and what their stuff is, that director is John Carpenter. They have put out some of John Carpenter's best films, most of, if not all of his best films. And by the time In the Method of Madness and that comes out, they will have put out, in my opinion, the best of the Carpenter catalog. So, the first 2 that came out were these 2 right here. Halloween 2 and 3. They were loaded. I still have the Silver Shamrock sticker and the original yellow sticker on this one as well. These guys are loaded. I mean loaded with special features. We get to see things like Horror's Hallowed Grounds, which is really cool. It's a feature that we would like grow to love, to know and love, and look forward to seeing in a lot of the Scream Factory releases. And whenever they put it in, we got to see a lot of the really good stuff. This one has like of course, the theatrical version and the TV version too, which is really cool because I remember watching the TV version as a kid, being terrified, watching Halloween 2 on TV, and I remember just the commercial of it before it came on. It just freaked me right out. Loaded, and it really is loaded with special features. It is great. Halloween 3 is one of those underrated cult films that everybody loves now, but back in the day, everybody didn't love it back then. Really, really well done. The one that got a lot of people into Scream Factory is a movie here called They Live. Now, it's a great Carpenter film, great sci-fi film, great Roddy Piper film, his best film. And I still got the buy one. It's a little bit like dented, but I still got the buy sticker on there because understand what it means if you've seen the movie They Live. It's got a really great fight sequence in here. Huge fan of this film. A lot of people. This was a lot of people's first Scream Factory pickup. Prince of Darkness is a personal favorite of mine. It's a John Carpenter film that I've always liked. I think that's been severely underrated over the years. Again, still glad I got a sticker. And it's just a really fun film. I saw this in theater. It freaked me out. It was like a cold, wintry night when I went after I saw this movie with my dad, and I decided to go. I was going up to my mom's house that night, and I'm walking through a graveyard, and the snow was up so high you can't even see the tombstones. And I'm walking through, I'm trudging through, and I feel this hard thing. I think, is it a rock? But no, I'm actually standing on a tombstone, and I booted it the rest of the way home. After watching this, I did. It's such a cool film. Again, another favorite of mine. You guys know I love ghost stories and stuff like that. So The Fog, I think The Fog is underrated. It's a really really good one. We got Adrienne Barbeau, Jamie Lee Curtis in this one. We got Tom Atkins, Sans the Stash, and Janet Leigh is in this one. Hal Holbrook. Hal Holbrook does a really good job in this film. Actually, he should get more notice for what he does in this. Now, a couple of the earlier Carpenter ones that I thought were really good is Assault on Precinct 13. I really do like this movie. It's a western for sure, and it shows Carpenter's love of westerns. And if you haven't seen this one, it's much better than the remake. The remake's not bad, but it is 10 times the movie the remake is. Escape from New York, of course. There's later on Escape from L.A., but Escape from New York's a great film, and it's being remade, but I really like this film, and it's one I can watch over and over again. And even though it's certain things seem a little bit cheesier now, it still hasn't lost its luster for me. I really do like it. I really enjoy it. It's something you should own. Now this is a fun one, Body Bags. It's kind of a throwback. John Carpenter one. It's kind of is an anthology film. You guys know I love anthology films. This was kind of meant as like a kind of a pilot for a TV series that never happened. John Carpenter plays a really cool role, and Mark Hamill does a great job. And his with Stacy Keach is hilarious in the one that he does. But my favorite actually is set in a little gas station, a little bit, and it's just a little ways away from a little place called Haddonfield. Check it out, Body Bags. Now, some of the ones that scared me when I was younger, one of the movies that scared me the most is this one right here, Terror Train. You guys know why? If you don't know, well, I did it, showed it in one of Absolute Sublime's, like what movie scared you videos. During Halloween one year, and Terror Train is the one that freaked me out because honestly, I came home, I started watching it, my parents thought it was too scary for me, put me to bed. My bedroom was right next to the TV. They got interested in the film. My parents, my mom and my stepdad, and turned it up and started watching it, and I heard it, didn't see it. Terrifying. Next up is Pumpkinhead. This is the original, a classic. Definitely one of those that you can watch around Halloween time. It's just a really cool, like, kind of ghost stories, campfire type of tale. Really like this. Lance Henriksen rocks in this film. From Beyond, a favorite of mine. I did get to meet Jeffrey Combs, and I was super geeked out. It was one of the times that I actually got speechless. And I know when you watch videos like mine that go on for so long, you can't believe I get speechless, but I do. And it was for Jeffrey Combs. This is a really good film, and Barbara Crampton and Leather. Just saying. This is a good one. Ginger Snaps. Please put it the other two. I'm a huge fan of the Ginger Snaps series. 3, not so much. It was okay. But 2 is really, really good. Ginger Snaps original is the best. I love, as you guys know, werewolf films, and this is one of the best. And hands down, I think they did a great job. Catherine Isabelle, Emily Perkins, fantastic in Ginger Snaps. I actually saw this one in theater, Lake Placid, so it was kind of like a guilty pleasure of mine. Fun little film by the guy that made Ally McBeal. And a lot of humor in this. I think this is where you really start to get to see, like, people get to see Betty White. And like now, like Betty White's kind of like a phenomenon. And she wasn't, I guess, as known back then, like Bill Pullman, Bridget Fonda, Oliver Platt's names are on this, but no. Nowadays, if this came out like tomorrow, like Betty White would be like plastered all over it. And she does a really cool job. Next up is, sorry, my voice going to Darkman. Again, a really cool film. This showed what Sam Raimi could do with Spider-Man, and he did it with Spider-Man, in my opinion. Very well. Spider-Man 2 is a classic. Spider-Man 1 is also really good. Spider-Man 3 is a film. But Darkman is excellent. They would make 2 more. And they would be films. Mad Max. Revenge classic. Do I like it as much as Road Warrior? I like it a little bit more, but that's just me. Road Warrior is actually a better film. I'm not going to deny that. I like Mad Max more. Motel Hell, fun film, cheesy, black comedy. You know, it takes all kinds of critters to make Farmer Vincent's fritters. Cat People, one that I really enjoyed, Malcolm McDowell. Of course, the very, very gorgeous Natasha Kinski. She's amazing in this. I think Annette, what's her name? Annette Toole's in this one as well. And wow, might want to check that out. Dolls is one of my favorite releases that they ever put out. the year that this came out, it got my favorite release of the year that it came out. That beat it box sets and everything else. There were a lot of good movies that year. Night the Comet was one that I like, but originally wasn't going to get because it didn't have a lot of features, but it did have a lot of commentaries. 3 of them, to be exact. So definitely check this one out. On the newer stuff is Cockneys vs. Zombies. It's not Shaun the Dead. It's not supposed to be Shaun the Dead, but it's a fun film in its own right. Day of the Dead, great release, great special features on this. Feature-length documentary. Highly recommend Day of the Dead. I do recommend Dawn of the Dead too, but it's not out. The Burning, again, it's a classic slasher film. You don't have in your collection, you like slasher films. You don't have a slasher film collection. Get this movie. I'll be right back. Let's get through this. Sleepaway Camp, fantastic film. Sleepaway Camp 2, I liked it even better. Sleepaway Camp 3, it's fun. Definitely on the Sleepaway Camp trilogy. I like these movies so much. I also have 2 and 3 on 80 Films editions as well. Night of the Demons, another Kevin S. Tenney film. It's a classic. Have this one for Halloween. Watch it on Halloween. It's a good one. Class of 1984 is a favorite revenge film of mine. Again, Lisa Langollis is in this. I'm a big fan of hers. I hope to meet her at a convention or something sometime. I'm a really big fan. But if you haven't seen it, see it. Lord of Illusions. Sorry about that. Clive Barker. Last one he directed. I do really enjoy this. Beneath. Way better than I expected. I really want the Larry Fessenden set. I really do. But it's been really expensive. I haven't been able to get it. Does anybody want to get me the Larry Fessenden set? Beneath is actually a really cool film. That's a really different accent. Dead Souls, the first Chiller one I got. And I know I watched it, but I don't remember it. I really don't. I'm not going to even lie to you and pretend like, oh, yes, this film. I don't want to talk about this film because it has such deep meaning for me. No, it doesn't. I really don't remember it. Village of the Damned. Yes, it's another John Carpenter film, and you can see we're into the ones with the blue bars now. Tell me what you like better. Do you like this? Or do you think that the unadulterated artwork is even better? So this is collector's edition, Village of the Damned. Not a great remake, but actually I thought it was a lot of fun. And a lot more fun than it really should be for a movie that's classic like this. These are 2 that I got. I think they were for $1 each. I don't really want to talk about them much because there's a lot of controversy and I don't want to get into it, and they do make me uncomfortable. I don't think I've ever even watched them, but I got them because I was collecting, and eventually when I have all the Scream Factory stuff, and Jeepers Creepers 1, Jeepers Creepers 2, which is, even if the controversy wasn't behind that film, I'll be honest with you, I didn't like it. I've never liked Jeepers Creepers 2. I think it's really not a well done film. There's my honesty. Exorcist 3, come on guys, Exorcist 3, come on, own Exorcist 3. Child's Play, everybody needs this one. It's a classic, it's fun. Brad Dourif, he does a great job. There are some great special features on this one here as well. Carrie, the definitive edition. I have so many editions of Carrie, it's ridiculous. And what I like to have next. Okay, I'm a huge fan. I'm a fan of Riverdale. And they did Carrie the musical. I'm also a fan of Carrie the musical. I watched that episode like 10 times. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend, no, I'm too good for Riverdale. No, I'm not. It's actually a fairly decent show. And I was a fan of Carrie the musical, and they put a lot of songs in from there that I really wanted to see. So they did kind of truncated versions of some songs, but still they had World According to Chris was there. Which was actually a really good song from Carrie the musical. And they did a few of the other ones. They did the acceptance one, or kind of the apology song. It's just really well done, kind of a romantic one, but they did it in a different way. Misery, I got this for Christmas. I was so excited. I'm a huge fan. We don't get a lot of Scream Factories here, so this one came in the store, and my better half got it for me. Bubba Hotep was something that somebody had ordered in from HMV, and they never picked it up. And this was one of the more expensive ones because this was considered an import because you couldn't get it in North America. this is an import Scream Factory. It's not one of the ones that you can go on the Scream Factory website and actually order and get sent to Canada. So I'm a big Don Coscarelli fan. You guys know I'm a huge Phantasm fan, and I'm a huge fan of Bubba Hotep. I think it's probably some of the best stuff that this is some of the best. Ashes Side, Bruce Campbell does a great job. This Ozzie Davis does as well. Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs. I love this film. I really do. I can't even explain why. I just do. I just love it. There you put out 2 Tales from the Crypt films. Bordello of Blood and Demon Knight. I like both of these, so was excited to get them. And I love the artwork on these. Look at the artwork on these 2 films. Now, Demon Knight's the better film, but Bordello of Blood is just like fun cheese. It really is. Chris Sarandon, of course, who played Jerry in like Fright Night. For real. Does a really cool role in Bordello of Blood. It is over the top, cheesy, shouldn't work at all. It does work. And as much as I think Dennis Miller is a bit of a kind of a blowhard now, he does do a good job in the film. And you can tell from what they say about him that Dennis Miller was kind of full of himself back then too. Shocker, Wes Craven, not his best film, but it's one that's really fun. And I think what makes this really, really fun is Mitch Pileggi as Horace Pinker. He just really goes in. He chews the scenery like crazy and does a great job. Raising Cain is one that I really, really like. I'm a huge John Lithgow fan. And as you guys know, I'm a huge Brian De Palma fan. Brian De Palma is one of my favorite directors of all time. And one of the reasons I started buying Carrie and then just bought different releases because I just really like that film. Now, I was asked recently, and I'll get into it more when I do a C-section on the road, about Carrie, like, did I read the book? Because when I reviewed the new version. And I did, actually. I did read the novel Carrie, and when I originally read the novel Carrie, I'm not going to lie to you, I wasn't a fan of the novel. I was actually kind of disappointed in it. I did like it more over the years, but it's never been one of my favorite Stephen King novels. But it is one of my favorite movies. Hell Night, thank you. This is way, way better than I remembered it being. It is such a good film. I love the arcs in this film, the way the characters go. Vincent Van Patten, awesome. My latest release from Scream Factory. My newest one, the one I'm really excited about, the one that helps. Like, I was asked to make this video. This ensured I was going to make this video. This also ensured that I'm going to do a Cannon Chronicles, which I hope you guys are going to enjoy. I'm going to be talking and reviewing a lot of the Cannon films. So if that's something that really interests you, and seriously, I do like to know, and I need to know that some of the stuff that I'm doing or that I plan to do that you want to see, so that I don't make ones that you know that you're not going to be too interested in. Let me know in the comment section down below if that's something that you're interested in. And that is Cyborg, Albert Pion's Cyborg. Of course, we got a really, really cool cast here. Jean-Claude Van Damme. You can see why he became kind of like the action star. It really shows through here. He does do a great job in the role. You can't deny it. Whether you like Jean-Claude Van Damme or not, he does a really good job in this film. There's some really like baffling scenes in this one. I won't get into it till I want to do a really good review of this one. Ralph Muller's in this one, who played the TV Conan as well, and he has a really good death, like a really, really good death. But with that being said, I got a couple others to show you. A couple that are really cool. I'm not even going to turn off the camera. I'm just going to reach up and get them. So you can admire my Optimus Prime shirt if you want to do that. Scream Factory has actually put out some really, really decent, really cool box sets. And I have 4 of them. So I'll show you the 4 that I got. And the first one I picked up is the Amityville Horror Trilogy. This one actually has Amityville 3D and really is 3D. And it's a really good 3D version of it. Amityville 2 is my favorite in the series, The Possession. I think Amityville Horror is probably my least favorite, to be honest with you. Though I do enjoy it more than a lot of people do. A lot of people rag on it. Say, it's boring, it's slow. It's a product of its time. But it's not like the best of the Amityville films. But I'm a big Margot Kidder fan. I think James Brolin actually does do a good job in the role. No, I do like the Amityville Horror remake. Actually, I think it's probably way underrated when it comes to remakes. It's actually pretty damn good. But if you don't have the set, it's actually really good. There's some great features, and I love the fact you actually get like each one gets its own. Like Anvil 3D, the biggest thing for that one is the 3D, of course. Anvil 2, which didn't have any features on it at all, gets the most features. And of course, Amityville, the original. Now, I had an Amityville box set originally that had like the first 3 films in it, and it had a 4th disc with like History Channel documentaries for the Amityville ones, and I kept that because I kept that disc anyway, because it had those extra History Channel documentaries that you couldn't get the rights for when the Scream Factory edition came out. I'm a huge Vincent Price fan, so I got the original Vincent Price collection. This one is actually out of print right now. Pit and the Pendulum, Mask of the Red Death, Haunted Palace, Fall of the House of Usher, Bomb with Dr. Phibes, Witchfinder General. Some of these I got over in like another releases as well, but it's just a really, really cool edition. I love this. And they put out at least one more of these Vincent Price ones, which I got to get. And look at that. So you see the covers there. You can see the people. And now their skulls. It's got a little booklet in here as well, so I'll just show you guys real quickly. More pictures than anything with the booklet. Not a lot of write-up on it, more just like pics and stuff. A little write-up at the beginning, but not a whole lot. The definitive, like, really, like, the best, like, box set that's ever come out for Vincent Price is the Arrows, like, 6 Gothic Tales. You just can't beat that one. But that being said, Scream Factory did a great job with this one here and the other one as well. So there's 2 more. First off is one that I cannot believe that you would put out this movie and, just make people pay so much for this film. I'm never going to buy this release. You're not going to get me with this one. And Nightbreed. Not only do I have this release, but I bought my oldest a copy of this film because I knew that it's going to be something that they'd like. So, and this is really cool because you get the director's cut and the theatrical cut. You get a booklet that has like pictures, artwork and stuff. It's just, I really like Nightbreed. I do. I think it's a really cool film. Sacrilege. I may like this as much or even more than the original Hellraiser. But the biggest film that they put out, the biggest set they put out, it's hands down the greatest set that Scream Factory put out. One of the things that made them go leaps and bounds among other companies at the time. And the killer part about it is such a cool set. It was such a jewel in the crown that how the hell do you live up to something like this? How do you surpass this? They haven't been able to do it yet. And I feel sad for them with that but that being said, they did it. They did what no other company was able to do. And they put out the Halloween complete collection set. And it has them all. Of course, except from the new ones that's coming out now. But I hope Scream Factory gets the rights to the new Halloween film. Blumhouse will probably put that out. But I would like to see Scream Factory get the rights to it. But look at this. It is a thing of beauty. So I stood in outside of a Future Shop, knowing they had 1 or 2 copies at max, and they couldn't keep it on hold for me. I asked them, I said, can you put it on hold? I said, well, when we get normal stuff in, but this is a limited edition. We've only got, I think it was 1 copy or 2 copies of it. So I really can't. So I sat outside, late for work, waiting for Future Shop to open, so I could be the first person to get inside to find the Halloween box set. It was, a huge deal for me to find this. I'm a huge Halloween fan, and as much as I rag on certain ones, I do kind of love them all, and I will be the first person to rag on the zombie wings and stuff. But to be completely honest, as you know, I'm not a fan of the zombie Halloween films, but I don't. They're that being said, are they unwatchable? No, they're not unwatchable. Well, 2 is fairly close to unwatchable for me. But that being said, I know some people that love, like their favorites are Rob Zombie's Halloween or Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and I get it. I can watch the films and I can see it doesn't hit me in the same way, but that's me. But I can totally see why other people love the films the way they do, as fervently as they do. So as much as I rag on certain ones of these, I'm a fan of the Halloween franchise, like bar none across the board. Some of them work better for me than others do, but there's not a Halloween movie. There's not a Halloween movie in the set that I can say I don't like. I can watch any of these anytime. Like some, like I've got a preferred like order, but I love the Halloween films. I love the Halloween franchise, and I think eventually, over time, much like I did like some of the other ones, I'll eventually grow to like I may not love, but I'll grow to like the Rob Zombie films better than I do. I really do. I kind of think that, and I've come into that like realization over time that remakes don't have to spoil other films type of thing. It's not the original is still there. Even if it's not my type of film, I'm glad that somebody's put in love to actually care enough to redo the film. These don't always work out. I don't think this was one of the better ones. I did like the first one better than Halloween 2 though. But people keep saying I got to look at it in a different way, and I really want to do that. Because I'll be honest with you, nobody wants to love the whole entire Halloween series. I mean, love it as much as I do, because they mean a lot to me. They do. They're my babies, and it's quite a way to end this the Scream Factory video. And I think it's the best way to end the Scream Factory video is that they did something that nobody else was able to do, and they did it magnificently. They put it out, and they did a great job with the releases. Halloween, it's the anniversary edition. They didn't just give you like a crappy copy. No, you got the anniversary edition with the remaster and like the good sound. And Halloween 2, again, like I showed you 2 and 3. Yeah, those copies are here. The collector's editions, those are the ones that we get. 4 and 5, again, are the Anchor Bay ones, but they didn't have like a lot of features on them. I'll get to that actually. Originally, Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers, the producer's cut had never come out. The most people got, and I bought from some company, probably I don't know if it was eBay. I think it was a company actually. One of those companies that does movies that don't come out on anywhere. I bought it for like I think $35. I bought like a VHS copy. It was really maybe like a third, fourth generation looking type of thing for the producer's cut, because I love the producer's cut over the original Halloween 6. And I'm a fan of Halloween 6. I really am. I do like the film, and I like some of the concepts that they put there. I think it could have been much better if they had a better director. Joe Chappelle really didn't care about the film or the actors that were working on it. H2O is honestly probably one of the lesser films for me. I like what it did, and I enjoy what it did, but it's not my favorite. Halloween Resurrection, as much of a cash grab as it is, and as much as people hate it, I don't hate it. I don't hate Halloween. I can't say Halloween Resurrection, what a horrible film. No, I had fun with Halloween Resurrection. I really did. So it was fun. I got to watch these films again sometime soon. I really do love them. I got to watch them before the new Halloween movie comes out. And again, Rob Zombie films. As always, I'll watch them again, and people say, don't, if you don't like them, you're not going to like them. No, I think with a lot of films, the more sittings I get in, the more I get to like them, and the more I can actually see like different aspects of them that I couldn't see before. Never going to be my favorites, but I wouldn't want to not have them. And I did when this originally came out. I was like, I can't believe this set is marred with those Rob Zombie films. But no, I'm glad. I'm glad that they're there. They're part of the Halloween series. They belong there. They really do. And shame on me for actually, ragging on people for liking a film that I just didn't like or get at the time. That's the truth of it. Halloween series, the franchise on Blu-ray all together in one epic set. What other company could do that? There's companies that put out bigger, better like box sets overall on a consistent basis, like Arrow. There's companies that put out like stuff that's more the kind of I feel more to a lot nowadays, like some of the Vinegar Syndrome stuff. But at the end of the day, Scream Factory, if Scream Factory closed tomorrow, they're the guys that put out the Halloween box set. They're the guys that brought us the Nightbreed set with the theatrical and director's cut. They're the guys that brought the John Carpenter films out with like special editions and did it. They're the guys that gave us the 3D version of Anvil finally, after us like clamoring and saying, please, can we finally see this in 3D? And I'm sure if they were ever able to get, I know, the one, I guess the crowning jewel would be if somehow, and I don't think this can happen because there's just too many legalities and stuff behind it, but that's the same thing about Halloween. If they could do a Friday 13th box set, I'm sure we would see a decent Friday 13th 3D put out there, a really decent release of that. We'd see all the features and more, and some great stuff. So when people say, well, Scream Factory, they put out some good stuff, but I'm not sure if I like a lot of the stuff they're putting in now. I'm not really quite sure. Look at the history behind Scream Factory and the stuff that they've put out over time and the stuff that they're still putting out today. And this monumental signing they did with Roger Corman to get all the Roger Corman films. Scream Factory, you know what, guys? I salute you. You guys did a great job, and you were the first company out there. Before I collected Arrow, before I collected like many of the other companies, I was collecting Scream Factory on a regular basis, and I was excited and happy when a Scream Factory release came to my town, and that hasn't gone away. We don't get Scream Factory very often here, but when Misery came out for Christmas, my better half knew that was going to be a movie that I'd want. She knew I would love having a Scream Factory to open up on Christmas morning. I was going to get it with my Christmas money. She got it. I really appreciate that. I had to dip into a bit of my Vinegar Syndrome sale money to pick up Cyborg, and could I have waited? I wanted to watch it. I wanted to watch. This is a cheesy, fun, sci-fi action film that I can sit down and watch with my better half. And a lot of my Vinegar Syndrome stuff, I can't watch with my better half. And I knew I wanted to do the Cannon Chronicles. Let me know what you think of that. Something to dive into. I got a lot of stuff that I want to do in the next year. But there you go. They're the guys. They're the guys that brought out the first Vincent Price set. They're the guy that brought out Nightbreed in an amazing set. They're the guys that brought out the Halloween set. They're the guys that highlighted and brought out a ton of John Carpenter films. They showcased George Romero films and weren't just Living Dead films. We got to see Monkey Shines and Dark Half. So there you go. This is part 2, the finale to my Scream Factory overview. And I hope that I did more than just show you guys some Scream Factory movies that I had. Hope that you're able to see how I felt about some of these films and got to talk about the company itself and how much I really do enjoy and appreciate everything that Scream Factory has done and continues to do on a daily, monthly, yearly basis for genre fans. Thank you, Scream Factory. Thank you, Shout Factory, for bringing out stuff like the Shout Select label and bringing out films that I didn't think were ever going to get like a release and get a look the way that they did. I was just waiting to get like hopefully a UK release down the road, but you guys put out some really great stuff, and thanks for that. I hope this fills what everybody was expecting from me from my Scream Factory overview. Some of these films I can look into down the road on their own, won't get their own merit, but for a 2-parter, it's not too bad, right? Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great night for me. My voice is going. It is time for tea. I got to use my voice a lot tomorrow at work, and yeah, I'm very proud of my Scream Factory collection. I'm very proud of Scream Factory as a company. Have a great night, guys.